Welcome back to another episode of STAX TV. Sponsored by Crock Pops. Go ahead and get you some. If you need anything you need, go ahead and get you some. I'm here with the amazingly talented Nicolas Mondragon. What's good with you, brother? How you feeling, man?
Chilling, man.
I know that's not how you pronounce your real last name, so go ahead and tell me.
Hey, everyone says it differently. It's all good.
Feel it, man. Well, hey, welcome.
Appreciate you, bro.
Well, actually, shit. Thank you for inviting me into your home to get this interview going.
Welcome, man.
Last time I was here, I was talking to Chaz Dill. We had a whole interview segment, had a whole different conversation about what's going on in his life and what he's doing. And you guys are in the same home, you know, you're doing the same kind of similar stuff.
Yeah.
But you have a whole different take on it. You went way left, you're doing rock.
Right.
And he's doing rap.
It's the best of both worlds, you know what I mean? That's my brother, so I just love the fact that we have that dynamic of a friendship, you know, the best of both worlds. He's in rap, I'm in rock, and we've talked about that from years since the day we met, because that's what connected our friendship was music. And I feel like that's what brings everyone together ultimately.
I love the vibes of rock and roll, bro. Like that freedom to just go crazy and just scream and just vibe. You know what I mean? Just do exactly what you're supposed to do.
Right.
And just feel it all. You know, it's like it's just a great thing to me. So, what kind of got you started and got you involved in this crazy rock world?
Well, I mean, I've always been obsessed with music. It's been my lifestyle. It's been my life in general. So I got to give props to my mom. That's what really put me onto it. Was as a kid, as I was going through all her records and CDs, I got put onto Prince and Michael Jackson, Madonna, Dionne Warwick, ABBA, Supertramp, the Bee Gees, and it's just kind of like where I start with all my old school, or my love for old school music, if you will, because I already was always in touch with what was now. So back then, when I was like in kindergarten, it was listening to Slim Shady, Biggie, Pac, all the rap stuff, Outkast,
and regular hot shit.
Whatever was in the now. So even like when it was like those bands that were in that day, like Blink-182, Green Day, you know, any of those ones that were, like I said, were very relevant at the time. And as time progressed or whatnot, I just dug more deeper into old school music and just got into having the love for listening to all that kind of different genres, whether it was anything, whether hip hop, rap, rock, country. I've always been very diverse with what I listen to, because I think that what makes music so unique is you shouldn't really have to limit your sound to one genre, at least of what you listen to, if you will. So with me, I listen to everything, and all the concerts I've been to, you name it, different artists, I've seen them. And it's kind of like what kind of inspired me ultimately to get into music, because it wasn't my first career choice, if you will.
Yeah, what were you doing before the music?
Well, because when I moved out here from Cali, my whole career choice was journalism, like what you're doing, kind of essentially interviewing. But yeah, specifically journalism, because I'm a communications major. Okay. I graduated from GCU, and
congratulations, clap it up.
Well, you did it for the familia, you know.
Hell, so, you have to, for sure.
Of course, and I was
respect for that.
And I was the first in my family to go to college, and the first one, of course, to graduate, obviously. So it was a big achievement. But after that time, you know, I was never really thinking much of what can I do now, because it's like in the field of journalism, it's not about what you know, it's who you know.
Exactly. So all about your connections.
Exactly. You said it.
Right,
and so that was kind of like what the issue was, is that I wasn't really able to network with anyone. I reached out to numerous departments, stations, you name it, and nothing was happening. So eventually I met a friend of mine at work, and we got connected because of music. So once he realized that I actually had a passion for it and that I wanted to start a band, and I realized that he was playing guitar, I said to him, I said, hey, what do you think about maybe starting a band or at least jamming together? He said, say less, let's try it out. That's cool. Long story short, we hop in the studio with a friend of ours named Luis, who was a phenomenal drummer from Argentina. Problem with that is that he actually was on a working visa, so once that expired, we lost him. Yeah, and that was probably one of the biggest losses in general with this whole experience in the band, because he really was one of the best that we had in terms of our rotations of numerous lineup changes, if you will. So here we are today, and we're still continuing. We got the EP out, and we're just excited to finally get the tires going.
Y'all got this EP out, man. The crazy thing, like thinking about everything that you just said, man, it's like, you know me, I do my rap, my shit, but if you're in a band, that's like a unity. You know what I mean? It's y'all are close. You know, you're playing music together.
Absolutely.
All the time. Talk a little bit more about that. Like how because there's a lot of people like that are probably doing music right now that are with people, and next year they probably won't be with them, and they might watch this and they might be like, damn, what happened? So like, would you care to speak a little bit more on what happened with your situations with going through band members and all the ups and downs and whatnot?
Yeah, so in the beginning, like I said, it was pretty much the three-piece. Myself, Charles, the guitar player, were at this point the founding fathers of the band, and Luis, who was on the drums. And what happened, like I said, he had to go back to Argentina. So then we brought in another friend of ours from work, Darian, who's another close friend of mine, and he's at this point, he's doing very successful. He's got a brand called Out of Town Pop, which is doing very well. So I'm very
shout out Out of Town Pop.
Shout out to Out of Town Pop and Darian. He's doing great, so I'm happy for him. And what happened was, it's just like you said, when it comes to a band, it's got to be a team effort. And one thing that's inevitable is that there's going to be a lot of ups and downs and possibly a lot of lineup changes, which is what we ultimately have dealt with. Yeah. And we've gone through about 5 or 6 drummers, 4 bass players. So Charles and myself are the only consistent members in the band. And that's,
is that not to cut you off?
Yeah, no, you're good.
Is that because of creative differences or because of lack of talent? Or
it's more so just about
just differences in people.
Just differences in lifestyles, honestly. So with work, because if you're not really professionally doing this right now, you have to think about your living and your earnings and time conflicting schedules, and that's ultimately what the main issue was, is that not everyone was able to be on the same page with scheduling and trying to make this work. And it looked like it was at the end of the road numerous of times. But like I always tell people, if you really want something, you have to go after it. You have to keep pushing. You have to be persistent, consistent. And the thing that I tell everyone, the best advice I can give is that anything I failed at, regardless if it was even in music or anything, is because I wasn't patient. Yeah. And really, I've learned that the more patient you are, the more things are going to come your way. You just got to be ready for it, and you just got to know that if you see the potential and you have other people that are even pointing that out to you, that should be enough motivation for you to keep going.
Exactly, and just stay on top of the shit that you're already doing, basically.
Real, yeah, totally.
Hell yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, I've heard the new EP, man. October Skies is going crazy.
Appreciate it.
I know it's not everything you wanted it to be at that point in time, but from what I heard, that shit is busting right now. So I like that shit, bro.
Good looks.
Cameraman. Yeah. You know what I mean, bro? I'm fucking with that shit for sure, bro. But like, you give me a real like Red Hot Chili Peppers vibe, bro. Mm-hmm. Like you're really in that category, dog. Like when I heard that shit, I heard "Taking on the Other Side." Like, bro, I swear, I was like, hold on, bro. This thing's got something. So, like, were they a huge influence for you, or?
Well, yeah, because I always say my top 3 influences were Michael Jackson, Prince, and then in terms of the first band that comes to mind, it was them. Because when I was a child, that was really what I was listening to. That was what I was bumping to, and it was unique because we're talking about 2 different genres essentially. So with RHCP, it's like they bring a lot of funk, melodic singing, rapping. They could do it all. They're one of the most versatile bands I think I've ever seen. Yeah, and I really connected with all the members in the band because I felt like they kind of were speaking to me in terms of like what they had gone through in terms of starting a band, but also their personalities in general. And seeing them live was just very motivating to me because I've seen them twice. But really, I still say to this day the best concert I ever saw was Prince himself because. Exactly. When I was 10 years old, for my 10th birthday, my mom took me, saw him at the HP Pavilion in San Jose, and I was just so mesmerized because not only is he a genius songwriter and performer, he performed for 3 hours, and it was just shredding the guitar and just interacting with the audience. And then also, another thing that motivated me was seeing Kiss because like they're also one of my favorite bands. But one thing that they said that's always stood with me is they said, we always wanted to give the show that we never saw. And that's always resonated with me because I think to myself, I'm like, that's honestly what I've thought about taking away from every concert that I've been to is like, what would I have done differently if I were them? Or what did they do that I could maybe add on to?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel that because it's like, you don't want to, that's where, and I feel like, honestly, like for y'all listening and watching and shit, I feel like that's where people go wrong when it comes to like doing certain things in life where it's like, okay, well, I went to this event, I saw these people, I saw, all the faces in the crowd going crazy, going stupid and shit, but like, no one takes away what they would have changed. Yeah. They always just take away like for what it was.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They don't be like, okay, no, and granted, there are those exceptions, or there are those few that do that. But
Right, exactly.
But when all reality, if everyone could, man, if you could take everything that you see and just try and tweak it a little bit in your head, your life will probably get a lot better. Like in all reality. So it's like when you see that, when you go to a show and you see their type of performance, their energy, their vibe, and it's all there, but if you can point out one thing that's missing,
that missing element,
then you could create a whole different vibe within your performance. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And it's just, I feel like it's just stepping into it and doing it. And I feel like that's kind of where you're at right now. I feel like you're really creating a new sound on an old sound. You know what I mean?
Right. And I mean, that's kind of like what the focus was, is that I feel like the cliche saying that gets passed around a lot, that kind of like, not necessarily infuriates me, but just kind of gets under me a little, is just that when they say rock is dead, or that it's not what it will ever be. And I was like, well, as long as they're instruments, there's always going to be rock.
Exactly.
It's just a matter of, I guess, the way they say that, how everything's been pushed electronically, whether it's through like house music or even essentially hip-hop, how they get involved with all these different ways of sounds and stuff. And it's just like, I love hip-hop, you know, I love rap, I love a lot of different genres. Like I said, I've been to numerous concerts of all of those different genres. But with rock, it's always resonated with me because I felt like when it comes to the shows themselves, I felt like that's where my energy was very similar. When it came to the way those performances were, and just the vibes, the atmosphere, the energy, it's just all kind of like what embodies like what I go for and what my whole objective is with this music.
I feel that. Yeah. Bernie, what part of California are you from?
So I'm kind of like, I'm from a small town called Middletown, and it's, for those that don't know where that is.
In the middle of what? No,
well, yeah, right. I guess it is kind of essentially in the middle of California, but it's close to the Napa Valley. So, yeah, I guess you could say.
Little wine tasting.
Yeah, in fact, you know, shout out to my papa. He works in the winery.
Hey,
you know
shout
what I'm
out
saying?
Pops.
Yeah, exactly.
For
And
sure.
him, all my tios, all of them work in the wineries, and so that's always been around. Ironically, I don't drink, so I mean, I guess it's like, you know, no wine for me, but
it's good, you're focused.
Yeah, you know, so it's just that's always been
party
like,
straight, ladies and gentlemen. Damn party straight.
Right, but there's so yeah, I grew up in Northern California, the North Bay, in a small town of Middletown, but I went to high school in Santa Rosa, California, which is where I was born. It's about a half hour, 45 minutes south of where I was growing up.
Okay.
And then I moved out here in 2012 after I graduated high school, and went to Grand Canyon University, and then graduated in 2016.
Well, tell us about your childhood a little bit.
Well, so I'm mixed. My dad's Mexican, my mom's white, and it was, you know what I'm saying? We got that mixed too. That's pride.
You feel me?
You know what I mean? So it was different though, because where I grew up, you were either Mexican or you were white. Yeah, whereas my best friend, who's like my brother Devin, we've known each other since we were in strollers. We were the only ones in town that were both half Mexican, half white. Yeah, so it didn't seem like it was anything different at first, but I remember one day, and it kind of attests to the story that Lenny Kravitz, another person who I look up to, who I love, and who I got to see, he told this story in his book, Let Love Rule, that really I completely could resemble with, see where he was talking about, where he talks about how one day a kid went up to him and was like, your mom's black and your dad's white. And I was like, that same story happened to me when it was a parent-teacher conference. You know how you would come with your parents? Yeah, bro. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know exactly where I'm going with this.
I know exactly what's going on.
Right, so my mom, it was that night, we were in the gymnasium, and all the teachers, all the parents, all the students are there, and my mom was wearing like this fur coat, this mean coat that their friend or an aunt, I can't remember who got it for her, but she was wearing that. She looked like she was in New York City, you know what I mean? And we weren't rich at all. It was just something like that. She was just dressing nice.
Mom was just flexing.
Yeah, Mom was just flexing, you know, doing her thing.
Looking nice, looking pretty, go see the sun.
Very extravagant, if you will. But my pops came straight from work, so he's all like dirty collared shirt, ripped jeans, boots, dirty baseball cap, got wine stains on him. So we walk in, and, you know, here's me, and I'm all kind of like just dressed like casually.
In between.
Like, yeah, I mean, I wasn't dressed like this, but you know what I'm saying? Just a little kid. Yeah. But I remember this kid, a lot of people were staring at us, like hard staring, like we were aliens or something like that. And I was just kind of like wondering, like, what's going on? Because I never looked at it as if, okay, my dad's dark skinned, my mom's white, you know what I mean? But kid was like looking at me, he's just like, those are your parents? And I'm like, yeah, those are my mom and dad. He's like, are you adopted? And I was like, no, why? He's like, well, you don't look like either one of them. You know, I was just like, I never thought of it like that. And then I remember I went home and I asked my mom and dad what was that all about, you know, because it was just like,
it's weird.
Yeah, I never had that feeling before. Am I adopted? Because we used to make this joke that I said my dad was not from Mexico, that he was probably from some other country that he just wasn't telling me about, that I was just like, well, you and mom are completely different, but I didn't really think of it like that. Yeah. But it really like hit me, because that still sticks with me to this day, that was like my encounterment of like, wow, you really aren't like everyone else, you know, and that today it's normal. Like I've met so many people, and that was the thing, is that, not to jump forward, but when I went to high school is when I actually got to be with different kids for once, where I was actually friends with Asians. I was friends with
all over the
black kids, half black kids, you know, people that were like me, half Mexican, half white. I never really got to experience that before. You know, I had friends that were black, but they lived in different cities. You know, no one in my town was like me, or was like anyone that I could, you know, relate with to that. So, so like we're growing up like that, it did kind of like bother me at some times, because I felt like I wasn't where I belonged. You know, I'm growing up in this small town that's very country-like and not really like city, and I was always interested in the city life. Like anytime we went to San Francisco, LA, I always felt like this is where I belong. Like this is really where
quickness.
Well, yeah, you know,
people, just the general vibe of just being in a city.
And just not like growing up somewhere where everyone just, you know,
stares
grows up
at you,
and
or just like
well, and then doesn't do anything with their life. They all were born in that town and they lived in that town to the day they die. You know, it just recycles. Yeah, stays in the loop. And I wanted to break that. I said, because really the only reason why we lived out there to begin with is it was the first house that my parents ever owned, because I had been born. I'd already been about a year old. We actually were in Sonoma, where all my dad's family lives right now currently, and we were so I grew up there pretty much until I was about 17, and then that's when I moved to Arizona, and I had already had the ambition of going to college out of state, or even just not anywhere near home. I wanted to try something new. So when I moved out here, it was just like a whole breath of fresh air that I was just like, wow, like this is what I was envisioning the whole time. Really what life is supposed to be like. Like, you're not supposed to be like around a bunch of people that just kind of like ridicule you or wonder like, why don't you look like this? Why don't you act like this or anything, you know? Or it's just like, I had friends that were mixed that were like saying they were too black to hang out with the white kids and too white to hang out with the black kids or something like that. And you have to be stereotyped and you have to act like this. And I was just like, that's not really what life's about. See, I knew that. But it, like I said, it was one
being around it. You don't really realize it until you're out of it. And that's just real shit.
And then so and so like that was the thing, is that now that I was able to really be where I felt comfortable and whatnot, I was just like, man, today it's like I'm so proud to be who I am. Yeah. I'm proud that I can say I've come from two different worlds, and that I meet other people that are just as proud as I am, or just like they don't feel any shame of being who they are. You know, you can finally be yourself without being like judged. You know, and you know, I've been judged my whole life, whether it's from family, friends, relationship, acquaintances. So, like I said, it's inevitable that that's going to happen. Yeah, you know, nobody's perfect, but you know, it's just you wonder that now. Why do so many people have to judge you when they don't even know you? Yeah, you know, I can't tell you how many times I've met people that were like, "You're nothing like I thought you would have been." You know,
bro. I swear, bro. People like, yeah, dude, like it's crazy. Like, I get people that talk to me and they're like, "Man, like, you do all this, that, and you're just a cool, chill guy." I'm like, yeah, bro, I'm
human.
Yeah, like, what did you expect from me? Like, I'm just a regular person. So it's like, but I feel like everyone has those, like, you know, those hurdles that they gotta get over. It's like, you're gonna be judged. You know what I mean? Like, you're a Mexican and white person that makes rock music. Right. Yeah. Gonna get judged. Yeah. But it's like unique. You said, it's super unique, and it's the ability, and it's you having the ability to understand your worth, and to understand that the naysayers don't mean shit. No. You know what I mean? That's the difference.
Knowing that they don't dictate your life.
Exactly. Yeah. They mean something, but not to you. No. I mean, that's the biggest thing I think people should take away from this shit. Is like, you're gonna be judged no matter what. Yeah. No matter what, you could be doing the best at anything that you're doing. Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, everyone got judged. Everyone, you're gonna get judged. It's up to you to understand that you have the power to ignore that shit and just keep doing you and keep doing what you're supposed to do and be great. That's literally it. Right. You're a walking testament to it, bro, and me too.
Yeah.
That's just what it is, bro. Like, it's one thing to hear it, take it in, and let it hit you, but it's nothing to take it, let it hit you, and hit back with success. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that's the best thing that people should take away from that shit. Especially hearing from like your past and everything that you've gone through, bro. Like I didn't know half that shit.
Yeah, I mean, and it's cool. The cool story too about my parents is that so they met actually in the winery. Like I said, you know how he works in that business. But my mom was the secretary, and my dad was out in the fields. So my mom is actually fluent in Spanish, but if you saw her, you wouldn't have think that. But if you speak to her on the phone, she has no accent or anything. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really unique. And then, you know, we're talking about the late '80s, so there's still a lot of racism very alive in the air then.
For sure.
And my dad, not too far removed from being in Mexico, you know what I mean? And then so he started dating my mom, and word got around, of course, and the management really obviously wasn't too fond about it, and so they kind of gave my mom the ultimatum of, well, you can still work here, but we think that it'd be more professional if you two stop seeing each other. And I think that it was kind of like, yeah, that might be a point, but this seems kind of more focused on us specifically for a reason. It's not even the fact that we're in different departments, we're two different races. And so I think my mom eventually just said, you know what, no, I'm just going to quit. And then sure enough, right after that, my parents got married. So
that's awesome.
And then look who came out of that. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Right.
See, it's like, man, that's a cool story, bro.
Yeah.
And like off the racist tip, if we're still jumping on that shit for show.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I got a white grandpa.
Yeah, and I did too.
So like, bro, like literally, like everything that you said, that's why I was laughing so fucking hard, bro. I've heard this shit.
You've heard
niggas ask me all the time if I'm adopted. Ask me like, how are you white? Like, bro, because I lived in a white neighborhood when I was a kid, so I didn't really know about racism like that. I really didn't until I got a job in the neighborhood, and I was like, bro, this is crazy.
Then it's like a whole new world to you.
I was a lifeguard, and they were complaining that I had on earrings. They were complaining that I had my socks on with my slides. They were complaining that I was too far from the pool. They complained I was too close to the pool. Bro, it's terrible.
Where you can do no right.
And that's what I'm saying. You're gonna get fucking judged. Yeah. Just keep doing you. Just keep fucking doing you and being great. It doesn't fucking matter. Niggas just be hating on you. It doesn't fucking matter. You're gonna be great, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah, bro. I swear. And like with this shit that you're doing with this fucking rock, bro. Like this shit's gonna be fucking. This is gonna be fun. It's gonna be a great journey, bro. This is your first EP.
Yeah, it's our first EP. It's called October Skies, like you said. The band's called Xhilerate, and the thing that's unique about it, like so funny enough, I put the first name as the Chupacabras because I wanted to pay some homage to Mexican culture, you know. Unfortunately, like I said, we found out this other band was called that, and they're really like these older guys that, no disrespect to them, but they're just not like something that's going to be a legacy or something that's going to be remembered for years to come. And so when I found that out, I was coming up with all these different names, and then finally I reached out to the boys and I said, hey, how does Xhilerate sound? But also, we spell it Xhilerate, but also when it comes to concert bills, we spell it with an 8. So it's Xhilerate, you know what I mean? And so it was a little twist to it.
Clever.
Yeah, so I thought that would be kind of a cool way to do it. And we, like I said, because of all the lineup changes and all the obstacles, that's what took so long to get this music out. And my thing is that I really wished, obviously, this would have happened years ago because, you know, we're not going to be young forever. Time's never going to slow down. It's undefeated. But we are here for now, and that's all that can matter is just thinking about the future. You can't live in the past. That's one of the other lessons that I've learned is that a lot of times I've dwelled in the past and thought about all these problems that I was like, woulda, coulda, shoulda. But we're here now. And it's 4 songs. It's just a short little EP, but we got so much more we're working on. You know, I'm in full swing. I'm not going to slow down at all. Because, I mean, why stop?
They have so much shit. They have so much shit. Y'all haven't even heard nothing yet, bro. I'm just keeping it light for y'all, but, like, they have a lot of shit.
For sure.
That's what I'm saying, bro. And, like, that's the thing, though. Like, exactly what you said. And you got to remember, bro, it's all about timing, bro.
Timing's everything.
You know what I mean? Like, timing is everything, bro. Like, if I wouldn't have met Gabe, I wouldn't have met y'all.
Networking is honestly the biggest thing. It really is. It's like the more people you know that are individually talented in so many different aspects and factors, with you guys in photography, with media, the fact that you rap too, bro, and your music's dope. Like that's what I'm saying is like, why limit yourself? You know, mad respect, bro. Mad respect. But with that being said, it's just like, really what's been paining me is it's just because with all this COVID nonsense, not being able to perform. Because like, really that's my comfort zone, because, you know, as a front man, I'm confident as fuck without a doubt, man. But like, I've never understood the whole concept of being so nervous or stage fright. Like, nerves are going to happen, but you should be looking forward to being out there, because like my whole objective is that when I'm on that stage, I turn that shit into my playground. Because you got to make it your world. And like I said about making or giving the show that they've never seen, you have the opportunity to do that. And it's like a judgment-free zone. You don't have to worry about, oh, these guys out here, because they're out there, you're here, and it's your time.
They're looking at you.
Yeah, real shit.
Yeah, bro. That's the thing, bro. Performance anxiety only really, I feel like, because I'm not like a big performer. Like, I've performed before, but not from like a big group or anything. But like, I've performed before. But it's like, if you're gonna be on a stage, it's like, how do you want people to remember you? It's like, if you get on that stage,
you gotta have fun.
Exactly. Or you're gonna be up there clam up. You can't clam up. You know what I mean? Well, that's the biggest thing.
And so with me, bro, like I get more nervous if I'm performing in front of 2 people rather than 20,000 people. Because when you see a whole crowd of people and stuff, you just feel like, well, everyone's doing their own thing, even though they're seeing like that. But when it's some people like just looking directly at you and there's just 2 of them, that's when really the nerves come in. But yeah, to me, the bigger the crowd, the less nervous I am. And that's what I'm just really looking forward to, is just to finally be able to go out there and give them the show and just have people see what all this time has, because they don't really know the struggle. They don't see it. No one sees the struggle. They just see the success. But when you got to tell them and let them know that this didn't happen overnight, that we started this band 2 years ago, and we're just now finally getting to do all this, but we stuck with it, and that's why I'm proud of my guys. I'm proud of like all the just perseverance that we did, and the fact that we didn't give up. Because, you know, there's times where Charles, the guitar player, talked to me and said, we're not really making any progress right now, and like, are you still with this? And I'm like, well, why not? Like, I didn't start this just to give up. I don't start anything that I start, I follow through with, because anyone that knows me knows I'm not a quitter. And more importantly, I just don't want to let my family down. Like, my dad came here with nothing and didn't even speak English or anything and made something out of himself. How am I going to, you know, honor him or just let him down and know that he did all that for nothing? There's a reason why there's the American dream, that all these people, all these kids whose parents came from different countries all over the world, they came here for a reason. It wasn't just to live better, but to make sure that their families in the future just keep progressing and making even more success, for that matter.
And that's real, you know, and that's real mature to think of it in that aspect. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people, and you know, I noticed it like not being any type of way, but like with Mexican culture, that family shit and that shit hits hard. You know what I mean? Like that shit's for real. Like that's no joke. Like, and I know that because I'm that's half of me, bro.
That's
like,
half of you.
That shit. So like, that shit's real, bro. Like, it's like, hey, stay on your shit for your fam. Like, you have to do this shit to make sure that y'all grow. Like, and a lot of people around our age aren't even concerned about that shit, bro. Like, no one's really concerned about growth. Everyone's concerned about right now and like what they need to do like right now. But even in worrying about what they need to do right now, they're not understanding what it does later. Like, if whatever you do right now is going to affect you later. So it's like, but a lot of people don't have the foresight to understand that.
And you can't be comfortable with success. You got to realize that there's always going to be lots of issues that you're going to come up on. And it's kind of like, I feel like God's way of testing you to say, well, how much do you really want this? Because everyone wants it. So only the strong are going to survive. And I mean, we've been through enough. Like, so in 2015, we lost our house in the fires, you know, because California, that's the only problem that I have. You know, I love California, but just the wildfires out there are just gnarly, man. They just keep coming and coming, and more people are losing everything. So in 2015, we lost our house. 2 years later, my grandparents' house burned down, as well as my high school. So, I mean, it's just like, you know, I've seen everything disappear and then having to just keep restarting over and over again. And I know that, you know, there's a lot of people counting on me. There's a lot of people counting on us. You know, our families know that we got this. It's just a matter of whatever we put in the tank is what we're going to get out of it. And I mean, like, and then last year, just seeing how many people we lost too. Like, I mean, I lost both of my grandmas in less than a 1 month period. And then one of my best friends, both his parents died within a month. And it's just like, these are all people that you wanted them to see the success. You wanted them to see the end result of what was going to happen. But, you know, I believe that their spirits live with us, because you see all these signs, you know what I mean, where it's just like, this would not normally be happening. This has got to be them, because it's just kind of like their There are ways of symbolizing that we're still here. We can't be here in the human spirit, but you'll see the signs that we're watching and that you need to keep going.
Yeah. If you're observant to them, because there's a lot of signs given out. I was just talking to my nana about this, bro. There's a lot of signs that the universe, God, or whatever you want to call it, spirits give to you. But you have to be receptive to the shit. If you're not receptive, then you're not gonna see it. You know what I mean? Like it's like you sit there, you're talking about someone that you're like, man, I miss him. You talk to him, whatever. And then you go on your phone, and then maybe you just randomly get a text from him, or like you see him. You know what I mean? Or you see him on like a feed, and you're like, maybe I need to call him. And you know what I mean? It's just you gotta be receptive to it though. And it's like you get hit with like personal example, bro. I was in Cali like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, bro. I had 6 ladybugs land on me on the beach.
Out of anywhere.
Not even that. I've never seen a ladybug at the beach, bro, ever in my life, bro. 6 of them landed on me. I googled the spiritual significance of that shit, bro. Blessings on blessings on blessings are coming my way. That is what it said. That's what it said, bro. Like it's like the best form of luck.
I was like similar to that because
it's crazy.
Yeah, well, because you don't think about something like that.
Yeah, I was like, get the fuck off me, what the fuck.
But it is a sign because, like, you know, it's like with So I looked this up about a few weeks ago. So you know, one thing that I used to, because I battled severe anxiety my whole life, and really I always say music is really what calms me, or just beats it. Because at the end of the day, music is the best form of communication. Because regardless
therapy, bro.
Yeah, whatever you're going through, that you feel like no one can understand how you feel or what you're saying, the music will always be there. Yeah. And whatever song it is, whatever artist. But where I'm getting with that though too is that like I would go for all these runs and everything because I just love blasting music and just being in my zone. But I noticed, and this has been going on for kind of a year, but it started happening more a lot after my grandma's passed away. But like I would go for runs and these birds would be following me of any kind, whether it's pigeons, doves, or whatever, what type of bird. They'd always be following me. And then when I'm driving and they're out on the road, they wouldn't get out of the way. And I'm like, I'm not trying to run you all over, you know what I mean? But then I noticed they kind of do this little circumference thing where then they start going behind my car. And then I looked it up and they said, when birds are following you or whenever they're like in your path and stuff, it's a sign that your loved ones are trying to show you that they see what you're doing. That they're with you, but they know that you're not letting them down, that you're sticking to what you told them that you were going to do. And like another day, like when I was outside of the house, there was a hummingbird right there, and hummingbirds, you know, are impossible to catch. They're so zigzag and quick, but I could have literally grasped it if I wanted to. It wouldn't move. Like I was like opening the door, and I could have done it, but I didn't want to hurt it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want it not to fly.
Yeah,
I don't want it not to fly anymore. I hate people like that. But still, it was just a sign that I was just thinking to myself that like, why else would this be happening right now? Because that's not normal. And when you see things out of the ordinary, and then you see the kind of like spiritual connection, it all comes into fruition. It makes sense.
But it's all about being receptive.
Exactly. And
not ignoring
it.
Yeah, don't ignore it. Don't take it for just some happenstance shit. Like, no, someone telling you something. You gotta pay attention. You gotta peep that shit.
You gotta see all the signs.
No, that's for sure, bro. Like, man, bro. Well, I'm honestly really excited to see what you got in store for everybody, bro.
Me too,
what you got coming up, bro. I'm excited for everyone to hear the music that you got out. Go stream that shit. October Skies on YouTube. It's on every platform, right?
It's on all streaming platforms, Spotify, YouTube, you name it. You know, listen, it's 4 songs: Cameraman, Centerfold, Take My Soul, and then of course October Skies itself. Cameraman being one of STAX's favorites right now.
I'm telling you, y'all need to go listen to that shit. I'm telling you, it's cold.
Yeah, but
no, bro. That's what I'm saying. Well, do you have anything that you guys are working on, like coming up, like any singles that you're dropping, or visuals to any of those songs or anything like that?
So that's the main focus right now, is just performing and then putting out a visual. Most likely for Centerfold, since that was the first single we ever put out. Okay. And yeah, we just really want to get out there and perform, man, because it's just like, it's torture not being able to be out there. You know what I mean? It's just like whenever you can't really work in your field or do your passion, it's really...
Or do it completely.
Yeah, it's excruciating.
We're half-assing. We're studio performing, right?
Right, because last year was just the biggest tease, man, you know? Like, it was just like... Okay, no one knew what was going to happen. It was just like a delay, and then finally it was like, oh, no, now everything's going to be put back to next year, and then there's still things right now that are still pushed back to even next year, you know? But, in terms of songs, though, we're already back in the lab just, like, writing more, you know, just getting a general idea of how much we want for the next one. You know, we can't stop. Like I said,
can't stop on freeway.
No,
STAX.
STAX. Shout out to STAX, man.
No, of course.
But we got more in the tank. We're definitely, like I said, full swing, and just really excited to finally get out there and just keep progressing, keep getting better, and just don't take anything for granted. More importantly,
I feel that, bro. This last couple of things, bro. Is there anything? Because I know my little cousins are gonna see this shit. So, is there anything that you want to say to like maybe like your younger family members or any of your younger little, your friends' little brothers, anything like that you could tell them to motivate them, bro? Like,
yeah, I mean, just like like my dad's the oldest of 13, so I got a lot of cousins.
No way.
Yeah, I swear,
bro. My dad is in the middle of
11. See, it's like
12 technically.
A lot related with us, STAX. You know what I'm saying? But
that's funny.
Respect. Yeah, I got a lot of cousins that are around my age, younger than me, brand new ones, and I just think that the thing that I always want to let them know is that it's not about like what you have, it's what you work with. So just always utilize your resources. So regardless if it's just minimal or if it's large of what you have to work with, just always make sure that you keep going 100% or even 110%. Because anything that you do half-ass on, you shouldn't have any high expectations of it. Right, and I just think that people get, like I said, very impatient. They want instant gratification.
Exactly.
And I mean, more importantly, just shout out to Comiembro, Michoacan in Mexico, where my pops is from. All of them out there that are supporting this, you know what I mean? Because like, hey, I'm singing in English.
No, bro, that's crazy. We might fuck around and be related, bro.
I mean,
one of my great grandfather from Michoacan, for real. I mean, that's like, and the other was from Sonora.
Sonora, there we go. Yeah, Michoacan, Sonora, Jalisco, all of Mexico, man. Shout out to them. But that's the thing.
Amigos.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, on some Pitbull shit, man. Like Mr. Worldwide, we got to get this stuff going all over the country, because that's honestly what gave me like the biggest confidence boost is when I had people from other countries like DMing me.
Yeah,
like,
bro, isn't that
we
cool,
fuck
bro?
with your shit.
Yeah,
and I was just like, I've never met you, and I've never even been out there, and you got people singing my music. Like that's what's so beautiful about this era, because there's been many times where I felt like I was born in the wrong era. You know, where I'm just like, man. If I was in like the 80s or the 90s, yeah, man, I would have been more in my scene. But really, the fact that we have social media and that you can just branch out, it really is sky's the limit.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, bro, it's like that's literally crazy. Like that's fucking wild, bro. You can
anything that you put your mind to right now.
No, really, you really can, bro. Like the only thing that stops you is you. That's the biggest thing. Get out of your own way.
Yeah.
Get out of your own fucking way.
Right.
That's the one thing.
And think outside the box. Don't limit yourself and think that just because one person doesn't like your ideas and stuff, that means they're bad ideas. You know, everything that you do is not cut for everyone. Yeah. And that's the thing I made a problem of when I was younger, is just trying to please everyone. And then you realize, wait a second, they like it, he kind of likes it, she doesn't like it.
It's just not for her.
You know.
I don't need to please her. I can please these motherfuckers.
The hell with that, you know.
Exactly.
Majority wins.
Yeah, bro.
So when you got like the majority of people really supporting you and stuff, you're doing the right thing. And if they don't, just stick with your guts. Just know that, like, see what you're good at and really capitalize off of that. And know that, God didn't just give us a heart to breathe and all that. He did it for us to actually be productive. And we're all great at something. You just got to end up finding out what that is.
Find your niche and stick to it.
Exactly.
My brother.
100.
I appreciate you for
love,
having me over here. Appreciate the interview, bro.
Always welcome.
Appreciate the beautiful ass artwork and the little shit y'all got set up, man.
You know, gotta have the vibes all set.
All day. You know the motherfucking vibes, y'all. Shout out Crock Pops. You feel me? If y'all want some Crock Pops, go ahead and get you some. Like I said, we're sponsored. Pay partnership. Go ahead and DM them. Shoot them a DM. Let them know what's up. Go ahead and give them a follow at.
And Mondragon 707. We'll see all the new Xhilerate content up there in the future as well too. Check out on YouTube, just type in Xhilerate October Skies. You can see the EP on there as well.
Yes, sir. And it is fire. Y'all go stream that. Again, thank you, bro. I appreciate you.
Man. Much
great time. We're going to work and get something popping, y'all.
Oh, it's just the beginning, man. We're just getting started.
Like,
like I said, full swing.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All the way.
Guys, pleasure talking to you. Shout out my assistant, BD. You feel me? On the motherfucking camera. All right, then, y'all. STAX TV. We out.